Traders, welcome in. In this video, we are going to review my current positions and then also my watch list for tomorrow. Let's get right into it. So I have three positions at the moment. U, that is the first position, which I entered today. And today was really nice. The volume, extremely good, as you can see. This is a nuclear energy trade, and nuclear energy is in direct relation to data centers because that is kind of the theoretical power source for data centers of the future, renewable and relatively clean energy. So nuclear has been a theme for the entire year. And quadruple U is a stock that has had really strong momentum as of late, and it's just breaking out to new highs today with some really nice volume. So I took it at 1280. It's gone up a little bit. It was up higher today, but anyway, it's looking really strong. I'm probably looking to trail this one with the 21 EMA. As you can see, it respected it pretty well throughout majority of this rally. But anyway, that's kind of that trade. And then I have Open Door, which is a really good success, actually. I traded this 3 times now. So the first time I purchased it right here at about $2, rode it to $2.50 before I closed it out. It had earnings this day, and it ended up gapping down, so I'm glad to have closed out that entire position. And then I bought it again, like many people did. I bought it right here, right, this horizontal breakout, and I entered it around 250 and rode it all the way to these highs, but my average sell probably came around 450. This was probably my average sell price. And then I re-alerted in the Discord at, I want to say 490, 495 I think was my entry. And I'm still in it. I've sold some at $6, and then I sold some in the low 7s, upper 6s. I'm riding 1/3 of the original position still on Open Door. It's looking a little weak. You know, looking at this 30-minute has a little bit of consolidation. It's basically been chopping around the entire day. So typically, that's a pretty positive sign when you have a stock that's been rocketing and it's able to slow down. You know, sometimes you look at something like this and say, well, there's accumulation. You know, sellers are getting out. Profit taking has already taken place, and the stock can proceed higher. But it's pulled back significantly from these highs, and I really don't like the way it looks. And this can go either way. I can easily see this, you know, collapsing or, you know, breaking out to maybe 1670, and then it starts a larger range from there where it can actually possibly develop into the next leg higher. It's mixed, you know, there's a lot of excitement around this stock, but some of it has subsided. I don't know, you know, it's just, I'm going to manage the position I currently have. I'm still holding 1/3, and then if I have an opportunity to add more, I will do so. And if I believe it's time to sell the entire position and just move on to the next opportunity, I'll do that as well. The third position, which is the smallest, is BMNR. This is a Bitcoin-related trade. So I traded this last month as well. It was a pretty decent trade. But anyway, I'm looking at it here, and it's been in a downtrend, and I anticipated that it was going to pop out of the wedge sooner than later, and it's starting to get the pop out of the wedge now. And this did coincide, I should say, with a potential Bitcoin breakout. Bitcoin was also in a downtrend, and then it popped out of that downtrend, and then it has this launchpad setup, which I really like these. These are really nice. Once you pop out of a downtrend and then you consolidate, that can create a really nice breakout move. So that's what I was looking for on Bitcoin. And of course it could still do that, but it's at 111.4 now. The key level to break through is 13,000. So that's the key, 113,000, excuse me. That's the key level. It rejected that over the last 2 days now. It's rejected it twice. So BMNR, I sold half my position today for basically a slight red, but closer to break even. And I'm still holding the other half. I just didn't want to hold too much of it. Bitcoin's rejecting. You know, I just don't want this to stop out because my stop loss here is 43. It's relatively tight. So I'd rather just, you know, cut some of the trade even. I can always add back. So that's kind of the plan with BMNR. So those are the current positions I'm in. I'm treading lightly right now. September is typically a more volatile month, September, October. You have a lot of seasonal volatility here. So I try to tread lighter around this time. However, looking at this watch list that I'm going to review now, there are quite a few really good setups, and we have the idea of rate cuts coming in, so that narrative is taking place as well. S&P 500 is really strong, right off highs right now. So I'm not going to completely take my foot off the gas just because we have, seasonal weakness traditionally around this time. But, there's a lot of good setups. So you have to kind of find a balance. Anyway, let's get into it. OKLO, this is a nuclear trade, right? So I'm already in quadruple U. So I'm not as, this trade doesn't jump at me as much as it maybe would have if I wasn't in another nuclear trade already. But it's a really good setup. And OKLO has been a great performer over the last year. It's been excellent. And look at this weekly, right? You look at this weekly setup and it's just incredible. If I got in this, my goal would be to trail with this weekly 9 moving average. As you could see, price action doesn't really dip below it. You haven't had a single week close below this 9 EMA here on the weekly. So the goal would be to buy and ride it on that time frame, or ride it on the weekly time frame following the 9 moving average. Let it surf higher. This is the ideal trade. Now, for entry specifically, we want to go to a smaller time frame to get a more precise level. For me, I think the key level to get in is about 76.50. I just want to see a break over this high right here. That to me is important. Maybe it consolidates a couple more days. That would honestly be ideal. 2 days of consolidation here to then get a really nice risk reward trade. The closer the stock can close to this red line, the better, so that the next day when you get in, you're able to get a really nice risk reward entry. You can keep a tight stop loss. And as a result, you can buy more shares for the same level of risk. So that's OKLO. I like it a lot. The weekly is going to be your friend on that trade. Tesla, I think a lot of people talk about, obviously Tesla's a really popular stock, but I mean, a lot of people have been talking about it recently. I don't love the setup, but I know it's good. So, I figure if it breaks out with some really strong volume, maybe I'll take TSLL, the leveraged ETF. But it's not a top watch for me, but I figured I'd throw it on the watch list anyway. It's making higher lows. It's, going to break out of this downtrend most likely. And the general momentum, is to the upside here. So it looks pretty good. It's not my favorite, but I still wanted to include it. This is a really interesting one, and we've seen a lot of action out of these potential Chinese rug pulls. I don't want to create allegations against this company until they actually rug pull it, but we've seen a lot of Chinese stocks, explode as of recent and just have these unbelievable moves. I forgot, what was the ticker symbol today? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I can't remember the ticker symbol. That's annoying. I think it was QMMM. Yeah, got it. Okay, this was just an insane move. One of these Chinese stocks up 1,700% on the day, right? So this is kind of what's going on right now. It's another RGC, right? These just crazy China explosion, short squeeze trades. Now, XAI, they renamed this company to obviously be trendy. That's sus as it is. I looked at the fundamentals. There's virtually zero income, and they're valued at, I think they're over $1 billion in their valuation based on what they're currently trading as. Sorry. Let me find it again. So what does it say the market cap is? Hold up. It says market cap is 1.3 billion. Yeah. 1.3 billion, virtually zero revenues. So obviously it's not a good company. They renamed the company with the intention of generating attention. Did I say attention twice? I don't know. Anyway, so, but when you look at it from a technical perspective, this stock is on fire. 11 to 59, and it's just a beautiful move. And, you look at this setup here, and you're like, wow, this is just top-notch stuff. I look at this and I'm like, wow, this is, I mean, a picture perfect setup, guys. This is what you want. You want a stock that has big momentum. Like, this is textbook. So if you're still learning this strategy, just listen to this, right? So you want a stock that makes a big move, shows momentum. Notice how it's constantly above the moving averages, pulls back, right? You have some profit taking, but typically the strongest stocks, when they pull back, they're going to see higher lows, right? Because there's new buyers stepping in. They're, picking up the scraps basically. So you have profit takers, they're exiting out. Volume drops because the profit takers are out of the position. The people that wanted to scoop up some shares, they did it. And then the volume will explode when the next wave of buyers come in. So a new set of buyers comes in, and this stock will, theoretically take off. The ADR is 21. This is the type of stock that can be at $200 in a couple days. Now, do you want to run the risk of it being rug pulled on you? I don't know. You can have a stop loss. At the same time, stop losses can get broken if you have a gap down and then a circuit breaker or a halt on the stock. So I was actually in this. I made a little bit of money from 51 to maybe 54, 56, and then I got out because I was like, you know what? Let me not get rug pulled today. And then today it went higher. I sold yesterday. I was looking at this break on the hourly, and again, if this wasn't such a sus company, I would have obviously still been in this. There's no reason to sell from a technical perspective, but you have to be really careful with China. Same reason we don't touch the biotechs frequently. So just be careful out there. But it's on the watch list anyway, because if it's at $200, I wanted to make sure it was in this video, and maybe I'll catch it for a day trade or something. So next one is Hippo. I kind of already missed the boat on this one. The breakout really was here. Good volume. I missed it. But it has an hourly setup, so I'm kind of watching that. Maybe for tight stop loss, and if it just doesn't look back after that hourly, it would be a really nice trade. And if, like I said, tight stop loss, you could obtain a lot of shares for not a lot of risk. So that's the ideal goal with a trade like that. And then Soon is very similar, right? So our SoundHound AI. If you go to the daily time frame, it kind of already broke out of this. I wasn't interested in that though. And now it has a little bit of a development on the hourly. I thought I'd throw it in there. It's a stock that's moving pretty well recently, so I doubt I'll trade. I most likely won't trade this or anything, but I just wanted to quickly throw it in there. This one is really nice, AEHR. So this is a semiconductor related trade. Now, I would probably follow this on the weekly, trail a weekly. Similarly to Okelo, this is working with the 9 EMA really well. Now the breakout is so obvious, and it's just such a great risk to reward. It will be, because it's literally just rubbing right against, it's touching, closed right on the key level. So basically a break above that green line, and I assume tomorrow there will be volume if it breaks above that green line. I'd take it early on and place your stop loss tightly, try to obtain a lot of shares, and then hopefully it gets a nice jump off of that initial starting block, and you have the luxury, keyword luxury, of trailing this trade with the weekly moving average, right? Because if the trade fails within the first couple of days, that moving average will never have the time to catch up. And you can't just wait for that moving average to catch up. If it hits your stop loss early on, you have to get out, right? That's exactly how you can let your losses spiral out of control. You have to obey the stop loss, and your stop loss should be tight if you want to obtain a lot of shares. If you want a higher percentage win rate, don't, widen the stop loss out, but you're not going to be able to buy as many shares for the same risk. So just take that into consideration. Another one where I'd follow with the weekly, Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab can be a little choppy, but it's not closing below that 9 EMA on the weekly. So this is something that I'd also look on the weekly for, but the entry would probably come at, it's a little difficult to tell you exactly where my entry would be at the moment, but it's either going to be over 50, just over the highs here, or if there's a development on the hourly time frame, I might look to sneak a better entry. But to be honest, the hourly isn't really providing much, so the entry might just come over the highs, and then I just look to trail it on the weekly time frame. That would be the ideal scenario. I mean, Rocket Lab is one of the best performers of the last year, possibly the best. We've hit this trade many times over the last year, so it's been a really nice stock. Space stocks have been exceptionally well, and this has been the leader of them. So anyway, that's the trade there. I mean, you look at this weekly, and it's just insane, right? This massive move. Again, another textbook one, right? Stock's on fire. It's in a hot sector. It's very consistent, has a lot of momentum. It's above the moving average, which is essentially the confirmation of momentum. You know, the fact that it's above the moving average and it doesn't go below. And then you have this setup, right? You have some profit taking here, accumulation, and then, you know, it's tightening up. Bang, right? That's exactly what we're looking for. Remember, the setups aren't what necessarily make us money. It's the setups allow us to pinpoint good entries where momentum is to resume afterwards, and we're able to obtain an entry before the momentum starts back up, or just as it's starting back up, I should say. And we're able to have a pinpoint entry because the stop loss is going to be very close, and it's going to be a valid stop loss. You can't just, you know, enter right here at a random time and place your stop loss at a random level and have it close by and expect to, you know, hit a winner. The odds that it stops you out are significantly higher. Your stop loss needs to be at a level in which the trade is genuinely invalidated. So typically, rule of thumb, if you're entering on the daily time frame, that's low of day. And then, you know, if you can get into profits, then you look to take profits by using the moving averages as your reference points. Okay, Zepp. This is another sus Chinese company, and oh, I had their fundamentals pulled up. I thought I was going to show it in this video, but I forgot I force quit Google Chrome before filming this. So for Zepp though, the revenues are down every year, and they haven't been profitable since 2021. So this to me is just another Chinese trade, sus trade. But again, the setups are good. The setups are great on these Chinese trades. So yeah, that's kind of the dilemma. Good setup, but sus. So yeah, this hourly is really good. I mean, if you want to take a risk, I would say over, what level is that? 5160? Over 5160, I would say on the hourly with some nice volume, that would be pretty good. Remember guys, the volume has to increase. It's in a downtrend now, which is ideal when you're consolidating, but the volume needs to spike. Otherwise, you're just going to get a wick just like this. You're not going to go anywhere with that. But yeah, Zepp, this thing is insane. Just like Super XAI, but they're both rug pull candidates. I anticipate both of these will be lower in 2 months. I think that's a pretty high confidence assumption to make. A Solid Power, I simply forgot to remove that from the watch list. That doesn't belong here, sorry. ONS. So ONS announced a share, really hot stock, by the way, as you could see. They announced a share offering, and, you know, the stock gap down this morning, 10%, but honestly still looks really good. So just going to be watching that. Maybe it shakes off that. It's obviously still in good form, and it shook off the, it moved off the lows of the day, I should say. And overall, like, this could actually set up and continue higher, and maybe the share offering is not going to disrupt momentum too much. If the share offering is for the right reasons, it can be used to propel growth. I mean, if the company is growing, that's what investors want to see, them using the resources properly. With that being said, I do not know what these people do. That's bad on me. I should know a little bit, but yeah. Reddit is a really nice setup. I love this consolidation here. It's actually really nice. So I would say over these highs, that would be the entry. I think with this consolidation, this could be the breakout it needs to make the next leg higher. Whether you want to trade this with options or, I typically like to trade faster moving stocks. My best performers are ADR 10 and above, 10% a day and above. But anyway, this is a really good setup, so I thought I'd share it. And then Affirm. This is a stock that I traded. It was up 3% after hours because this setup was so beautiful right here. And then it went up 3% after hours, and I decided to just take it because I knew, like, okay, this setup is great. It's up 3%. And then I was right. I mean, this thing made a massive move. I sold a third of the position and basically cut the rest around break even. Just so unfortunate on my part. But anyway, and that's a mistake on my end. Like, I'm not blaming that on the stock. I should have secured profits in a more efficient manner. But anyway, it's setting up here. I like it. Post earnings flag, if you will. It's setting up after that gap up. And this is, I think the gateway to move higher for this stock. So I like it a lot. Last one, RGTI. I mean, quantum names have been pretty dry for quite a while now. I mean, considering how fast they had been moving, this has been pretty much chop fast since July, which to me feels like a long time, especially on something like this. But it is approaching this key level again of about 17. If it could break through that with some good volume, I would consider taking it. Probably smaller size just because, I don't know, I've been faked out of this one a few times this summer. So, but anyway, the key is to see that increase in volume because as you can see, volume's been descending as it should be. Like, that is what you want to see. But I want to see this volume break out. If I am to buy the breakout, I want to see the volume break out of this as well. So anyway, guys, that concludes the watch list, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. The Discord will be in the link in bio. Please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great one.